Welcome, everyone, to the Realm of Spirit. I am your host and also your teacher, metatherapist, conjurer, a bunch of, a lot of stuff all in one. And I want to welcome you to my first public show. I've been doing other shows, teaching, my students, my clients, and a lot of them that are, of course, come to be my friends. And so we do a lot of private stuff, of course, because of the nature of the calls and the nature of the topic, and, of course, the nature of whatever is going on with people. People, tend to have a lot of, I don't like to say problems, I'll say like situations that they have been given to conquer. And, of course, that's very, very private. And I'm, a private person, too. So I want to, again, say welcome to the first public call. And I think I may do these once a month or maybe once every 2 weeks just to, help other people. But nonetheless, again, welcome to the first public call. I wanted to say something, and this is what prompted me to do the call today, because I'm watching a lot of New Age teachers or spiritualists or, religious people, which, of course, I, have no problem with. People can, of course, believe whatever they want to believe. I'm more of a spiritual healer, so I'm more concerned with what Spirit is saying and what is going on behind the scenes on the shadow side versus what, people's religion or, whatever their theology is or dogma is. If it, floats your boat, then, go ahead, it floats mine. But something that I have been noticing that I kind of wanted to address for a long, long while is this spirit of forgiveness that a lot of teachers, whether they're religious preachers, whether they are enlightened or priestesses, or whether they're psychics, mediums, healers, this spirit of forgiveness that they are always, pushing on people. And because of my work, I know, something else about the spirit of forgiveness. And more importantly, I know a great deal about the power of unforgiveness. And this is what these 15 minutes that I talk to you all tonight will be about, the power of unforgiveness. Now, I know that's different. I know you probably haven't heard that before, and that is because people do not teach it. But it is something that we that work on, of course, the spiritual side, on the shadow side, on the side of healing, on the side of those of us that can, help release curses, break curses, or even if the curse cannot be broken this particular generation or maybe 2 generations, to be able to help that person be at peace or their generations be at peace until the debt of the curse is paid, which, of course, is another topic altogether, which, of course, I won't talk about on this particular call. But because those of us like myself that are gifted in breaking curses or helping, assisting, or helping the person just live with them if they cannot get off, if the universe has decided no, until the debt is paid, then this has to play its course for the now or for whatever generations. We know a little bit more than I would say the average teacher or spiritualist that basically is always pushing forgiveness. Unfortunately, we live in a dualistic universe. We do have polarity. Typically, people think of polarity as up and down, right and wrong, hot and cold, male and female. But it is a lot deeper when it comes to things of the spirit. It is also right and wrong. It is also access granted or access denied. And the very moment that an act is done in a positive way, at the exact same time on the far end of the spectrum, an act is being done, committed to, a person, animal, whatever, on the opposite end, which would be the negative way. This is no different than, like I said, if you are bringing something to you and you are giving access, say to a relationship, to a new experience, somewhere on the opposite end of the polarity, somebody that matches your your vibrational imprint or your soul tie connection is doing the opposite, saying access denied. the more powerful we are, the higher we vibrate, we're able to kind of make sure that, that the law of polarity doesn't manifest in a negative way in our own lives. We, kind of want to get balanced a little bit. But I say all that to say this. It is no different than when someone does a negative act that, of course, does not require or warrant any forgiveness. But because of duality, there is the opposite side that says, of course, forgiveness needs to be given for something. You as an individual, depending on whatever you are vibrating at, depending on whatever contracts you have made, this life, next life, past life, depending on who you're married to, depending on your occupation, depending on various things, you bring stuff to you and, well, people call it the law of attraction. I really don't want to say that because there's so much not said about the law of attraction, which, people should be talking more about how to repel stuff instead of attract, because like I said, there are, two different sides, and people tend to focus more on the attraction than, of course, the actual repelling, but the repelling is what should be talked about. But then again, of course, these New Age teachers are not going to teach any of that. So because in every moment you are being, required or asked to make a choice, and that choice, of course, opens up the law of duality. If something happens negatively to you, you are given the choice, whether to forgive this or not to forgive this. When you forgive something, I want you to really look at that word for, F-O-R, which is before the word give, G-I-V-E. When you forgive something, you are basically going before what was given to you in a negative aspect and asking for it to, be granted as if it has not happened. Now, I know that is not the definition that a lot of people have told you all it was, and you'll also hear people say, well, I need to forgive for me and all this other stuff. I don't want to hold on to this bitterness and to this anger and all this other stuff. This really is longer than a 15-minute show. The only thing that needs to be forgiven is you. You need to forgive yourself. That's what you need to do. Forgive yourself from whatever the guilt or the shame is that is in any type of way pushing you, giving this emotional high or, not high, low, that is saying you deserve this, why, were you in the wrong place at the wrong time. All types of stuff that goes through our minds, this negative self-talk, that when something happens to us, we internally some type of way believe that we deserved it because we were at the wrong place at the wrong time. We did something to somebody else. This must be some type of karma. The only thing that needs to be forgiven is you and those feelings about that. But the person that has done any type of negative thing to you, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, no, you are not to go before them and give them an access granted as if what they did to you never, happened. You do not want to do that because, in essence, what you are doing when you forgive a perpetrator, when you forgive someone that has done something against you, what you are doing, the energetic vibration imprint that you are sending out basically is saying, do this to her again. Do this to him again. That person did not have to pay any type of restitution. There was no compensation given. And mind you, there are laws on the law book. See, this is not even spiritual. This is even physical. There is laws of, there's a whole branch of law that just deals with the law of restitution. And there's another whole entire branch of law that just deals with the law of compensation. If you go before and forgive someone for doing something, how are you being compensated for it? And how are you being paid restitution? What are you basically forgiving? You do not want to do that because basically that is saying you are not due restitution, you are not due compensation, and the energy of that person that has done that to you has the right to continue to do it to you or to other people. So there is lots of people walking around here doing all types of atrocities because whoever else is believing this lie of forgiveness is giving these person an access granted stamp by forgiving them. No, the power is not in forgiveness. Let me tell you about forgiveness. If someone wants to forgive, there has to be three things done first. They have to confess whatever they have done, in any type of negative, adverse way. They have to repent for what they have done, which, of course, you all know means to turn away from it. And then there has to be a penalty paid. They have to confess, they have to repent, and there has to be a penalty. That is the only way they can be forgiven. When you forgive someone under the guise of, I need to do this just for me, that person is not confessed, that person is not repented, and there is no penalty paid. So guess what and who the universe is going to require to pay that penalty? Oh, because, see, we are in duality, and everything eventually is going to balance out. So if you do not stand up to that negative energy and do not request the penalty be paid, restitution be paid for the negative energy, for whatever it was that happened to you, then guess what? Somebody got to pay it. Oh, yes, somebody has to pay it. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be guess who? Yes, you. That is who it's going to be. That is why you are plagued with shame. That's why you are plagued with guilt. That's why, especially at times when women are raped, they, forgive their perpetrator because they're having all of these emotions and they don't know how to deal with the emotions. So they think that if they forgive the perpetrator, the emotions will go away. But we all know, especially me as a spiritual teacher and healer, that the emotions do not go away. It affects how you raise your children. It affects especially how you raise your son if it is a man that, committed the crime. If it is a female elder that has probably molested a little boy, then it, affects how he views women. See, so because the penalty has not been paid, and that energy can continue to go around and continue to rape, continue to molest, continue to do all these types of negative atrocities, all because you have pardoned the energy. Remember, all of this stuff is energy anyway. You cannot look at the person and say, I'm going to forgive the person for the act. What you are doing is pardoning the energy for the act. And that is what these New Age teachers, these healers do not tell you. And I sometimes, I think that they purposely do not say it because they are in some type of way linked to the system that continues to, mistreat people. And maybe they're getting kickbacks because they're, teaching these lies. Maybe they're getting kickbacks in the spirit somewhere. I have absolutely no idea. But your power has never been in forgiveness. And if this is your first time hearing this, remember this forever. Your power is not in forgiveness. Your power is in unforgiveness because that is when you are going to be able to hold that energy accountable for what it has done and stop that energy from feeding off of you anymore and feeding off of anybody else. Well, people will tell me, okay, this is $1 million question. Well, what do I do with all these emotions that I have? Now, that, of course, is, another topic. It's a lot longer than I could dare talk about anyway, because the emotions of that hurt is what has to be healed. That is what has to be healed, the sadness, the depression, the suicidal thoughts. Everything, every negative entity, every, curse or whatever that is connected to whatever has happened to you, that is what needs to kind of be dealt with and moved and, placed or done something with. But the energy that brought it to you in the first place, no, it is never to be forgiven. You cannot call in restitution. And if you do not call into restitution, trust me, as a spiritual teacher, the universe is going to call that in. Energy is, you all know it, not created or destroyed. So when that energy is continuing to go and do what it wants to do, mess up people's lives, wreak havoc on their, occupations, on their finances, if someone has stolen from you, then guess what? You have basically given that energy cause to exist. Someone is going to have to stand up and say, no, I'm taking my power of unforgiveness back. You will not live and feed off of me, my children, any other generation, and anybody else. You will not do it. You will not. And as I said, the emotions that come with that, because that's typically what people think they are going to be, forgiven, because they want to forgive so that they aren't bitter and angry. Bitter and anger, I mean, really, ladies, it wouldn't matter if this person did something negative to you or not, and gentlemen too. It wouldn't matter. Every day someone does something that makes us upset, that makes us angry, or makes us bitter. One particular act is not going to 100% just free you or damn you. You can be in rush hour traffic, and somebody cut you off and flip you the bird, and you're just pissed. And from then on, you take that one incident, because you have, of course, connected an emotional tie to it, and think that, of course, the next person that cuts you off, you're just going to tell them back and get them back. See, so I'm saying all this because do not link certain emotions, especially strong emotions of, sadness or suicidal thoughts or, depression or any type of envy, jealousy. Do not link them to, just one incident, because I can probably guarantee you before any negative thing, even if someone gossiped and lied on you, before that happened, if that person was able to do this negative thing to you and conjure up all that negative, powerful emotion, then guess what? You were probably upset and mad about something else anyway, something that someone else done did, something that made you mad anyway. So, we want to connect these strong emotions to incidents, and I understand that. I do understand that. But attaching that emotion to an incident is the reason why you believe you have to forgive the perpetrator. No, when you see emotion as energy, you can see how it is connected in all people, in all instances, at all times, and you can get a hold of your emotions. You can get a hold of that energy and cleanse it. You can, get a spiritual teacher, contact me. We can do that so you can get a better hold on whatever the energy is. But when you attach that, let's say you were dating someone and the person cheated on you. When you attach that energy of betrayal to a relationship, you're going to take that energy of betrayal into every other relationship you have, and it does you a disservice, all because of that one person. No, detach that energy. Do not forgive that person that did it. Detach that energy. Call on restitution, which, of course, you would have to get, talk to a spiritual teacher about that, because some of you have already forgiven these people, so that makes it even harder for you to get restitution. You might not be able to get it at all. But do not, of course, forgive the person that did it, but take your power back. Take that negative energy back. See, people are scared of the negative energy. That's why you believe you have to forgive the person so the negative energy will go away. What I am saying is make peace with that negative energy. You stand toe-to-toe with it and deal with it. Fight it spiritually if that's what you have to do, but say, no, I take back this anger, I take back this bitterness. You will not hold me to this situation or to any other situation that you want to hold me to. And when you are able to detach the emotion from the incident, you can deal with the emotion in that incident and any other time that emotion comes up. But what you can even do even better is call in restitution, because that person that brought or conjured up that emotion in the first place is left without protection. And you can say, okay, I want to be paid back for every minute, second, year, month, however long this was, that I have went and slept in depression because of what you have done, when I could not go to work and my finances were all messed up because of what you have done, that I'm no longer a strong mother because I have all this fear around my children and I cannot raise daughters and sons to be strong because of what you have done. I cannot be a good father because of what you have done. No. You have to make a difference between the perpetrator's energy and the energy of the emotion the perpetrator conjured up. Anyway, I know I said a lot, so it was supposed to be 15 minutes. We might be a little bit over, but anyway, this, of course, is the realm of the spirit. This is my contact information is on my page. If you need to contact me for anything, I do need to say this. I am, of course, inundated with lots of emails. So if there is any type of question you have as it pertains to advice, then, just sign up for a consultation. It'll be much easier because I'm not going to continue to email other people back. I have a bunch of other women and men to help. And that is going to be it for this call. So, again, I just want to say this and reiterate this. Your power is in unforgiveness. You take back who you are by calling the perpetrator what they are, a perpetrator, and asking the universe to be set back, made whole. Again, this is the Realm of the Spirit, and nice talking to you.